Many of us like to think of DayZ as a simulator. We like the game to be as close to real life as possible, but at the moment DayZ is very far from it. In real life, we have things called emotions. Most of us anyway. We hesitate, we rethink, we certainly don't go around killing everyone that may or may not have something we want. This is the basic problem with the game. There are no repercussions for murder in DayZ. Now, some of us may cry out that freedom is part of the game, that we have the right to kill whoever we want for whatever reason we want. Some say that the ability to kill is part of the game, that having any form of repercussion for murder goes against the very foundation of the DayZ experience. I submit to you, however, that the exact opposite is true. If we want DayZ to be the simulator we all claim it is, then we should be striving for more realism in the game. We want to survive. Food, water, eventually warmth and shelter are basic needs in DayZ. Firearms now need to be cleaned. I'm sure in the future we'll see weapon jams. Equipment gets worn, destroyed, and rendered useless. These things all contribute towards DayZ being a realistic simulator of what the zombie apocalypse might be like. In DayZ, it's safe to say that most human interactions end in murder, sometimes more than one. In my experience, I would say that about 8 out of every 10 people I have encountered have killed me or at least tried to. Those numbers would be higher if everyone I met had carried a weapon. The population of Russia where DayZ takes place is well over 100 million people. Murder rates in Russia for 2009, and a study conducted by the United Nations showed that Russia was a particularly violent country, with about 11.2 in every 100,000 people being victims of murder. However, that is only 0.001% of the population. Granted, these numbers aren't concrete, and there are a lot of other contributing factors being glossed over here, such as organized crime, domestic violence, and so on. Now, in DayZ, there is considerably lower population. The game has no lore to speak of, so we can only guess at how many survivors there are in Cherno. That being said, I highly doubt that nearly every single one of them are psychopaths who kill without remorse. I'd wager that half the murders conducted in DayZ are not perpetrated due to some material gain, but the fear that if they don't shoot first, they will in fact be the ones who are murdered. Despite what we internet isolationists might like to think, humans are not solitary creatures. We are genetically predisposed to form communities, to come together and form tribes. In modern society, our tribes are very impersonal, but trust me when I say that all a city is a different form of tribe. For obvious reasons, we're never going to see player-made cities in DayZ. We aren't going to have peacekeepers, murder investigations, the ability to pass information along in any way other than direct communication with other players. We can't very well say that we saw a person in camouflage murder someone else. Half the population dresses like that. Due to limitations of the game, all of us look roughly alike. Picking out an individual is very difficult. What this means is that we're free to kill without fear of retaliation in nearly every case. Also, there's no motivation for us to go out seeking murderers. There's absolutely nothing that can be done about that. This is where the game element comes in. Since we are lacking the tools required to build at least some sort of civilization or community in DayZ, we need the game to bridge that gap for us. Now, many people have said that any form of humanity or morality system would ruin the game, but it may well be the thing that saves it from becoming a murder simulator. Having read much of what Dean Hall has said about the game over the years, to him this game has always been about survival, not murder. While yes, banditry and murder are certainly parts of the game, I don't believe that the intention of DayZ was to have us kill each other left and right over utterly nothing. Fresh spawns who have nothing are constantly killed for no reason. Players who need nothing from anyone murder other players who don't have anything that they want. This is not realism. Many movies would have us believe that humans kill for no reason. That in the apocalyptic wasteland, we're all cannibals, rapists, and psychopathic murderers. It simply isn't true. While the world has never gone through a zombie apocalypse, mostly because such thing isn't real, we can infer how it might be. Surely things would become lawless, but law isn't why we don't go around killing each other. Basic human empathy keeps us from pulling the trigger, in most cases. But there are no repercussions for murder in DayZ. especially no personal repercussions. We don't feel bad when we kill someone's virtual body. They could always respawn, start over, and keep going. So what do we do? If things continue along this course, DayZ is certainly not going to be the survival simulator that we all want it to be, but will in fact be the aforementioned murder simulator. The goal will no longer be to survive, but to gain enough firepower to kill the people who are killing the rest of us. What is the answer to this quandary? I certainly don't know, but it's going to be up to the community to figure this out. We will have to make certain concessions about what we expect. Certainly some form of humanity system, something that punishes the cold-blooded killers in a fair and balanced way, is required if we're going to keep DayZ a survival simulator. I am by no means suggesting that we turn the game into some sort of Care Bear experience where we all get along and no one ever dies, but the current model of the game is not sustainable. Remember that it's a big jump to go from 0.001% to over 80%. I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on this, suggestions we as the community can come up with to deal with this growing problem and unrealistic portion of the game. So let's get your comments, good or bad. Happy hunting everyone, and stay frosty.